Welcome everyone. The following video is a part of Richard Hart's free self-help book, SciVive, Get Rich, Live Forever, The 9 Secrets You Need to Win at Life. Enjoy. Cross-pollinational discovery. The use of the word accident to describe scientific breakthroughs and discoveries that happened in a lab while you were looking for a different thing is kind of a waste of the term accident. The term accident that people are used to is an accidental thing that occurred that you weren't expecting. However, if you're in a material science lab and you find a new material that does some weird shit, you were in the lab. You put in a couple $100,000 of equipment, $100,000 into personnel, $100,000 of education. You got $500,000 sitting there trying to make discoveries, and you just happened to discover something different. That's not an accident. If you're flipping burgers at Burger King, you're not discovering shit. I think a new word should be invented for the cross-pollination, cross-jurisdictional, sideways discovery of something in a discovery palace called a lab. Know the difference between a test and an experiment. It's important to understand the difference between experiments and testers. If you test something, you have a very reasonable expectation of what passing and failing looks like. As a person grading the test, you learn very little. If someone gives you a multiple choice test and you do well, the tester learns basically nothing other than how well you did on the test. If you are given a slightly different test, which is much more subjective in its grading, if you are told to write a 10-page essay on the most important problem in the world, now the tester is not only going to learn what you have decided to choose as the most important problem in the world, but also might learn something about that which you have written about. Knowing the difference between a test and an experiment is that it's a lot easier to learn from experiments because you aren't sure of what the range of possible solutions is, and you're trying to perform learning as your goal. I'm doing this experiment. I want to see what happens. That's why it's an experiment. It's an attempt to see what happens. A useful definition of the difference between a test and an experiment is your intention as to whether you're trying to learn something or whether you're just trying to give someone else a great thing that makes a big difference and is separate from your intention. How wide is the possible solution set? When you do an experiment, the range of solutions that you would accept as proper outputs is all of them, assuming you performed a good experiment and didn't screw it up. When you give a test, the range of solutions that you would be comfortable with receiving are very specific. The most important thing you can learn from knowing the difference between a test and an experiment is that you're going to learn a lot more from being open-minded, experimenting, and looking for learning and building on discoveries that weren't unexpected. You're going to get more out of experiments than you would out of tests. There's probably little else that you could do to learn less from another party than give them a multiple choice test. How are you going to learn from that? What are you going to learn? Not much. What's up, guys? If you enjoyed that, make sure to download SciVive from the link in the description box below. If you'd like to listen to the full narrated version, head on over to Wild SJ's channel, which is also linked in the description box below. And make sure to check out Richard Hart and all his socials and all the cool stuff he's building over at hex.com, pulsechain, and pulsex. I drop 2 new videos daily at 12 and 4 p.m. Eastern Time, so make sure to check those out. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.